as a kid, always dreamed about, being a Masters champion. It's hard to talk. Never had this much trouble gathering myself.
It's okay.
On the golf course, I'm pretty good at it. Out here, I'm not. Yeah, I do. I put in a lot of hard work.
They say Dustin Johnson never cares about anything, that he is gutless when it comes to drama, and just walks past it all like nothing happened. But what if I told you there are 5 golfers who got so far under his skin that even the most emotionless man in golf could not shake them off? This is not about bad shots or losing tournaments. This is about the golfers Dustin Johnson genuinely hates. Dustin Johnson is famous for forgetting. He grounded his club in a bunker at Whistling Straits and lost the 2010 PGA Championship. He 3-putted the final hole at Chambers Bay and watched the 2015 US Open slip away. Most golfers would replay those moments in their nightmares for years. Johnson moved on like they never happened. Sports psychologists call this flow state. Johnson calls it Tuesday. His mind does not hold onto mistakes. It does not hold onto pressure. It barely holds onto yesterday. That ability to forget is what makes him elite. It is also what makes this story so shocking. Because if a man who can forget a lost major championship cannot forget what you did to him, then what you did must have been truly personal. Johnson has the reputation of being Teflon. Nothing sticks. Nothing bothers him. He walks down the fairway with that slow, confident strut, hits bombs off the tee, and collects checks. But Teflon is not unbreakable. It just hides the cracks well. And there are 5 golfers who found those cracks and drove a wedge straight through them. These are not normal rivalries. These are not about who hits it farther or who has more wins. These are about betrayal, disrespect, and the kind of personal violations that even the calmest man cannot ignore. Let me break down exactly who these 5 golfers are and why Dustin Johnson will never forgive them. First, we need to understand what it takes to make Dustin Johnson care. This is a man who operates on instinct and speed. He does not overthink his swing. He does not overthink his putts. He sees the shot, trusts his body, and executes. That simplicity is his superpower. It is also his shield. When you do not think too hard about things, you do not get hurt by them. But shields have weak points. And for Johnson, those weak points are loyalty, rhythm, and privacy. Mess with any of those 3 and you will see a side of Dustin Johnson that the cameras never catch. The first name on this list is not just a rival, he was a brother. Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson were once inseparable. They lived in Jupiter, Florida, just houses apart. They trained together under the same strength coach, Joey Giovisalvi. They lifted heavy, hit bombs, and dominated golf in a way that felt unstoppable. The media called them the Bash Brothers. 2 alpha males with zero patience for weakness and total commitment to winning. They pushed each other in the gym and on the course, but here's the problem with 2 alpha males in the same space. Eventually, one of them wants to be the only alpha. And when Brooks Koepka started winning major championships in 2017 and 2018, the power balance shifted. Johnson was still dominant, still ranked #1 in the world, but Koepka was no longer the sidekick. He was the rival. And that tension was building long before it exploded. The explosion happened at the 2018 Ryder Cup in Paris. The United States team was supposed to crush Europe. Instead, they got embarrassed 17.5 to 10.5. But the bigger story was not the score. It was what happened inside the American team. Reports from the French publication L'Equipe said that Johnson and Koepka got into a heated argument on the charter flight to Paris. And it was not about golf. It was about Polina Gretzky. Johnson's fiancée and the daughter of hockey legend Wayne Gretzky was reportedly going through a rough patch with Johnson at the time, and Brooks Koepka had been comforting her. Now, maybe Koepka was just being a good friend, maybe he had pure intentions, but in the world of professional sports, there is an unspoken rule. You do not get that close to your buddy's girl, you do not cross that line, and Johnson saw it as a betrayal. The flight to Paris was described as horrible. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a sand wedge, and it only got worse from there. By Sunday night, after the Americans had been destroyed and humiliated on European soil, the 2 nearly came to blows. The losing team traditionally visits the winning team's quarters to offer congratulations. It is supposed to be a classy moment of sportsmanship. Instead, it turned into a near brawl. Golf Channel insider Tim Rosafort confirmed that Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka had to be physically separated in the European team room. Witnesses said Polina Gretzky was there and was clearly shocked and upset how threatening the encounter became. Think about that. 2 of the best golfers in the world, supposed best friends, almost fighting in front of their European rivals. It does not happen in golf. Golf is a gentleman's game. You shake hands, you smile, you move on. But this was not about golf anymore. This was personal. This was about trust being shattered. In the days after, Koepka tried to play it off. He said there was no fight, no argument, and that Johnson was one of his best friends. He even said they had talked on the phone and everything was fine. But actions speak louder than words. The Bash brothers' narrative disappeared. They stopped doing practice rounds together. The warmth was gone. Years later, Koepka admitted the friendship had been exaggerated by the media. He said they were just horsing around and messing around, but it never showed the full picture. That admission told us everything. The best friend story was always a bit of a lie. They were gym buddies and neighbors who respected each other's game. But when Koepka got too close to Polina, he crossed a line that Johnson could never uncross. When LIV Golf came around and both of them took massive contracts, they were forced into a business truce. Koepka even joked that guaranteed contracts cure all. And maybe they do in a financial sense, but Johnson has not forgotten. Koepka is the deepest cut on this list because he was the closest. He was family, and family betrayal hits different. Now let me ask you this. Which rivalry shocked you the most so far? Was it the Koepka betrayal, or are you waiting for something even crazier? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you are enjoying this deep dive into the drama that Dustin Johnson actually cares about, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started. The second name on this list is Kevin Na. This one is not about personal betrayal. This is about pure disrespect. Kevin Na and Dustin Johnson clashed during the 2021 WGC Match Play at Austin Country Club. Match play is different from stroke play. The format has unwritten rules. One of those rules is that you concede short putts to your opponent without making them actually hole it out. It keeps the pace moving and shows respect. On the 11th hole of their match, Johnson missed a birdie putt and left the ball about 10 to 13 inches from the cup. That is a gimme. Everyone knows it. So Johnson, operating on instinct and the flow of the game, walked up and scooped his ball away with the back of his putter. He assumed Na would say good like every other professional golfer on the planet would. But Na did not say good. Instead, he called Johnson back to the green. Na put his hand on Johnson's shoulder, which is a power move, and delivered a lecture. He said, "Just wait. I know it is this close, but you still have to wait until I say it is all right." Technically, Na was correct. Under the rules of golf, you cannot pick up your ball until the putt is conceded. But here's the thing. Everyone knew that putt was good. Everyone. Na was weaponizing the rulebook to assert dominance. And for Dustin Johnson, a guy who plays fast and trusts the rhythm of the game, this was infuriating. Johnson did not say much. He just turned and walked away while Na was still talking. That silence said everything. After the round, Johnson refused to talk to the media about it. He wanted nothing to do with Na's little lecture. Kevin Na is known for being slow. He has struggled with the yips. He overthinks everything. And in that moment, he tried to slow down Dustin Johnson and make him play by Na's rules. Johnson hates that. He hates anything that disrupts his flow. And Na represents the opposite of everything Johnson believes in. Na is the bureaucrat. Johnson is the athlete. And when the bureaucrat tries to tell the athlete how to play, the athlete does not forget. The third name is Bryson DeChambeau. And this is an ideological war. DeChambeau is the scientist. He measures air density, calculates wind speed. He treats golf like a physics experiment. Dustin Johnson treats golf like a sport. He sees it, feels it, and hits it. The two philosophies could not be more different, and the friction came to a head at the 2019 Northern Trust. Johnson was playing the lights-out golf, would go on to win the tournament by a huge margin, but the story of the week was not Johnson's brilliance. It was Bryson's slowness. Videos went viral of DeChambeau taking over 2 minutes to hit an 8-foot putt, over 3 minutes to pace off a 70-yard pitch shot. The internet exploded. The locker room exploded. And Dustin Johnson, who usually stays quiet, joined the veteran players in criticizing DeChambeau. Johnson's game is built on speed and decisiveness. He does not waste time. He does not stand over the ball calculating angles. He just plays. And watching Bryson turn every shot into a science project was offensive to Johnson. It was disrespectful to the playing partners who had to stand there and wait. It was disrespectful to the game itself. The feud did not end in 2019. It kept going. In July 2025, Bryson proposed a new system for monitoring pace of play, and in his pitch, he specifically named Dustin Johnson as part of the problem. He said that while Johnson is fast on full swings, he is really slow on the greens. That was a tactical mistake. Johnson's pace on greens is normal. Bryson's pace everywhere is glacial. By trying to create a false equivalence, Bryson tried to drag Johnson down to his level. And Johnson does not forget that kind of thing. DeChambeau violated the social contract of golf. The contract says you play efficiently. You do not slow down your playing partners. You respect their rhythm. Bryson breaks that contract every single round. And for Dustin Johnson, who lives and dies by rhythm, Bryson is a persistent irritant. He is the guy who ruins the flow. And even though they are both on LIV golf now and forced to coexist, Johnson has not forgiven him. He tolerates him because the money is good, but the hate is still there. These are not about arguments on the course. These are ghosts. Will Mackenzie and Jimmy Walker are reminders of the darkest chapter in Dustin Johnson's career. In July 2014, Johnson shocked the golf world by announcing he was taking a leave of absence to seek professional help for personal challenges. His team kept it vague, but the truth came out. Golf.com reported that Johnson had been suspended by the PGA Tour for 6 months after a failed drug test for cocaine. It was reportedly his third failed test, but the drug suspension was only part of the story. A second narrative exploded in the gossip columns and locker rooms. There were allegations that Johnson had affairs with the wives of fellow PGA Tour players, and 2 names kept coming up: Will Mackenzie and Jimmy Walker. Will Mackenzie became the center of the storm. Reports linked Johnson to an alleged affair with Allie Mackenzie, who was married to Will at the time. The rumors got so intense that Allie was forced to issue a public denial. She told Golf.com the allegations were untrue, but admitted the media pounding was destroying her family. Whether the rumors were true or false does not matter anymore. The association is permanent. For Dustin Johnson, Will Mackenzie is a living reminder of 2014. He represents the reckless behavior that almost cost Johnson his career and his relationship with the Gretzky family. The hate Johnson feels for Mackenzie is not competitive. It is defensive. Mackenzie is the ghost of shame, and Johnson wants that ghost to stay buried. Jimmy Walker is the same kind of ghost. Walker was also mentioned in the 2014 rumors. And after Johnson returned to the tour in 2015, people noticed a frostiness between the two. They were contemporaries, they were Ryder Cup teammates, but their interactions were cold and strictly professional. Walker is another reminder of the scrutiny Johnson faced, another name tied to the worst period of his life. Johnson hates these two, not for what they did, but for what they represent. They are triggers. They are the past he has spent a decade trying to outrun. So let me tie this all together. Dustin Johnson hates 5 golfers: Brooks Koepka for betraying the brotherhood and crossing a line with Polina Gretzky, Kevin Na for weaponizing the rulebook, disrespecting the flow of the game, Bryson DeChambeau for turning golf into a science experiment and slowing down everyone around him, and Will Mackenzie and Jimmy Walker for being ghosts of 2014, reminders of scandal and suspension. These 5 represent the boundaries of Johnson's world. Do not threaten his family, do not disrupt his rhythm, do not resurrect his past. Cross any of those lines, and you will see the side of Dustin Johnson that nobody talks about. The side that remembers, the side that holds grudges, the side that hates. LIV Golf has forced some of these rivalries into cold truces. Johnson and Koepka are business partners now. Johnson and Bryson share a tour. The money has acted as a bandage, but the wounds are still there, and Mackenzie and Walker remain frozen in 2014, estranged and unforgiven. The fascinating thing about all of this is that it proves Dustin Johnson is human. The Teflon reputation is a myth. He feels betrayal, he feels disrespect, he feels shame. He just hides it better than anyone else. And that makes these 5 golfers even more significant. They are the exceptions that prove the rule. They are the cracks in the armor. They are the proof that even the most unbothered man in golf has limits. But here's the beautiful part. Johnson survived all of it. He survived the Koepka fight, survived the NA lecture, he survived the Bryson slowness, he survived the 2014 scandal. And he came back stronger. He won majors, he dominated LIV Golf, he married Polina Gretzky, and built a life that most people can only dream of. The 5 golfers he hates tried to break him in different ways, and they failed. Because at the end of the day, Dustin Johnson does not just forget the bad rounds. He outlasts the bad people, and that is why he is still standing while the rest of them are footnotes in his story. So which golfer do you think crossed the biggest line? Was it Koepka's betrayal, Na's lecture, Bryson's slowness, or the ghosts of 2014? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the rivalries that actually matter, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories that go beyond the surface of professional golf. Because the real drama is not in the scorecard. It is in the relationships that break along the way.